Friends, thank you for watching my channel. I just want to remind you, if you need wallpaper, go to www.wallpaperboulevard.com. Tell them Spencer sent you. In fact, if you use my hashtag, Spencer Colgan is wallpaper, they'll be sure to give you a 10% off at your checkout. No matter how much you order, they have a wide selection of wallpaper. Check it out. Tell them I said hello. So you want to paint your door, but you don't want to make all texture marks on it or brush strokes or roller marks. Let me show you the way I paint my doors. First thing we want to do is get rid of that shine. Your new paint won't stick to that. You're making it dull, you're scratching with fine sandpaper. Do that to the whole door. So after you do your sanding, you want to get this off. I'm doing a separate video on painting the door. So maybe you're the folks who watch all of the videos. Just wipe this down. Get all the dust off of it. Listen. It's a lot of dust on there. Now, before I let you go from this frame, you want to wipe off the dust that's on your new protective masking, okay? Because you may not realize it, but this is a lot of dust. Get it off the wall, make your job perfect. When you're all done, just get it up off the floor, because it'll be on your paint job. And you'll be unhappy with the final finish. I truly believe that when you do work to the best of your ability, you feel better about yourself, you know, your product, your name. And when you don't really get fulfillment out of the fruits of your labor. Work becomes a really hard thing for people who don't get fulfillment out of it. I mean, seriously, if food were not tasty, we would not really eat. So I had COVID, so I lost my taste. I gotta tell you, eating became laborious. It really did. It's like I don't want to eat. I can't enjoy it. So if you don't enjoy your work, you're not gonna make a good product. Right or wrong? Panel number 1, panel number 2. Why am I starting here? Any ideas? Notice I turn the brush around. At the top, I have the brush. This is an angle sash Chinex brush. When I came down here, I turned it around. I think it's obvious, right? As to why I did it. My brush is going to do best by getting into those corners. I saw a professional painter on YouTube who proceeded to wipe this down. Interesting. Let me tell you what'll happen if you wipe that down. I think he was doing it just so he wouldn't get negative comments, because he's a pro. You don't have to do that. Here's what could happen if you decide to start wiping that down. Watch this. Make believe this is a rag. I don't want to dirty up my rag. Let's say you're not as neat as I am. Take a look at that. Yeah, you're looking at a ridge. That's actually the paint. Don't wipe that. Let it dry. Let it dry. That's how I'm holding it. I'm a left-handed person. Now, I go back up all the way down. I pass the corner. That's my corner. Watch this. Why did I do that? Let me show you. Let me show you what'll happen if you don't do it. Watch this. You see that pool of paint? That's why you do this. Now watch this. I go right to the corner, not beyond it. I pull it all the way up. And I stop right at the corner. And lo and behold, I don't have a pooling of paint. Okay? Now, who says to paint this with a brush? Who says so? Well, if you do, I don't say to paint it with a brush, but if you do, here's what you gotta do. You gotta move quickly and methodically. Here's what I need. Get all the paint on the surface. Look at how I'm holding it now. Okay. Okay. Watch this. When you get to the edge, don't do this. Because you'll get that. So if you're going to use a brush, here's how you do it. My whole panel is painted, at least theoretically, right? I put my paint in the middle. Go up and down, up and down, up and down. Now watch this. Choose a direction. You want to go up? Okay, we'll go up. Watch this. That's one column. You see that? Where the brush ends on your left here? That's one column. Dip in again. Go up. Finish right there. Dip in again. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Go to the bottom. Go all the way up. Each column is its own entity. Go all the way up. Finish in the same direction each time. Go all the way up. You get the picture? Why are we doing it like that? So that you don't have column marks. It's really all one piece now. Look at the shine coming off of it already. Look, you did this. Let's just recap. You went up here, one column. You overlapped 50%, you went up another column. You overlap 50% of that one. You went over it again, up, all the way up, nice and straight. Did it again, went all the way down, go all the way up. Is my paint gunking up? No, it's not. It's not gunking up. That's one coat. Let it dry. Let it dry. Here's what happens when you start painting your second coat too soon. See these marks here? Watch this. You keep taking the paint off. The brush is an aggressive applicator. It puts it on and it takes it off. Now, after you have the panels done, which began with this profiled area, right? And as they're drying, you can move on. You can move on. And the next step should be the top rail. And then the bottom rail. Now, if you wanted to, you could run a piece of tape right up along this line, continuing right up there, to give yourself an imaginary line, and it will create a permanent groove. It's not a terrible idea because I'm going to create essentially the same thing with the paintbrush. Okay, but you would use a level to do it, because otherwise there's no border. You see that? There would be no border. Let me do it with the tape. Let me show you what I mean. Now I'm not going to go this way against the tape. Rather, I'm going to go this way. Now I have, once I let this dry, a permanent line that will simulate the appearance of jointed lumber. Wood. Your door is wood, right? Or at least you give the impression that it is. And there's nothing displeasing to the eyes. The problem is if you continue a smooth door like this, well, here's what you're gonna have. Watch this. You'll be going one way at the top rail, then when you come down, you'll be doing this. And you will create an ugly mess. So as we get to the middle of the door, we're doing the same thing. We used our tape to do the same exact thing. One direction. Before this dries, you want to take this off. Okay? Same here. And we're going to do the same thing down here. Now, on all of these horizontal panels, I have to tell you that the brush stroke is back and forth in the direction in which you would find the grain of the wood. Okay, it's just more pleasing to the eye. And so we're going this way. Full strokes, none of this nonsense. You can do this when you're first putting it on. But when you finish and you're ready to let the paint set up, you want to go in one direction, overlapping 50% each column. What do I mean? This is one column. Now watch what I'm going to do. I just now bring my brush down 50% and I'm going to cover half of what I just did over and over again. Okay? Now, let me mention before I forget. The top and the bottom of the doors, that is to say, the piece under here, should be painted. That will help prevent humidity from entering into the door, swelling it up, making it difficult to do this. Opening and closing it without interference from the jamb. The jamb, no friction. It helps you prevent that. On the stiles, from top to bottom, all the way. I'm not stopping here or there. So I'm going to do the hinge style and then the lock style. Not necessarily in that order, but that's what I'm going to do. You can take this off. After working with locksmiths for 7 years, I don't like to mess with locks because once you take the screws out, or I should say once you first put them in, you create tooth marks on the metal that tighten this up to make this thing work. When you take those screws out and reposition and put it back in, you're making different tooth marks in the soft metal, in the mechanism of the doorknob, making it sometimes different to open it up. I don't want to hear customers complaining, my door doesn't open the same way. And so I'm disinclined to start loosening these screws, pulling this off, because callbacks cost a lot of money. Okay, so if you're the pro, consider that. Now, as I do continue my second coat, I want to show you that this is pretty simple. Except there's a couple of things to know. One of them is this. Watch this. Watch how I'm holding that brush. My preference, right? Now I'm going to this edge with a little bit of paint. Look, I'm pulling it slowly because I want to continue that impression of that style profile. We created that with the tape. And so when the eye sees this painted, it's going to interpret that line as wood, you know? I hate that when I do that. When I'm videoing myself and I start videoing something over here while I'm working here. But I'll tell you what, it's a lot better than having helpers. Helpers today? Forget it. Forget it. I'd rather not make videos. With the stress that they cause you, let me just be honest. You know, well, people get offended if you're honest. Workers stink. They really do. Hold on, let me go back to the subject matter. Look, pull your paint down in the same direction, okay? This is important. This is a long rail, okay? It's 79 inches. So here's what you gotta do. Tell me, you who are watching, is this drying yet? Is it? Well, yeah, it's starting to set up. It's getting tacky. So here's what you gotta do. You just go over it just slightly. Don't disturb it. It's starting to set up. Okay, look, I go back and forth, but I'm gonna finish. Look at the direction and look at the way I'm holding the brush. Look. You don't want start and stop marks. Okay? So when you stop with your stroke, you're stopping on a wet part. It's called keeping a wet edge. Okay, let me give you an example. You know we painted this earlier. In fact, it's 90% dry. But now if I started going like this is not a wet edge. This is 90% dry, but this is wet. And so I can paint up against wet paint. And look, I go down like this and I leave it off. Look how I pull off. It's like an airplane taking off. Look. I don't stop like this. No. Because look what you do. I go like this. Now watch. See that? It's a gradual removal of the applicator. All right? And that's how you do it. Look at that paint on the hinge. Come on. Don't do that. I don't like when people do that. Because, like, the paint doesn't go there. Don't put it there. Stop doing shoddy work. You know what I always hated? You ever get your family over to help you paint? You know, for those of you who are really young, you know, and consequently not too bright. So you get your family over, oh, Bill's gonna help, or brother-in-law John's gonna help. And here, this is what they do when they come over. Watch what they do. You order pizza yet? Watch this. I'm not done. Or something not as dramatic, right? And oh, you come over to him. Please don't do that. I'm here for free. The first thing he's gonna say is, I'm not even charging you. You know what, guys? Send those people home. Don't let them paint your stuff. You're gonna do better than they do, okay? And you know I'm right. And then you'll get your wife, right? She'll say, you insulted my brother. And then you'll say, yeah, because he stinks. And now you got a problem with your wife. It ain't worth it, guys. Do it yourself, man. And when I say guys, I'm not talking gender. I'm talking all of you who like perfection. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Okay? I hate these things. I hate them. I don't like painting around them. Now, do you like this paint? Now the ladies watching, they'll be interested in the color. The guys couldn't care less, I know that. But for you ladies who might like this paint, let me show you the paint. Now that's some fine paint, folks. It's some fine paint. Pricey. Let me tell you a story about pricey paint. Okay. A few years ago, a lady was having me paint some places in her home. So I said, look, if you insist on getting this paint, I don't want you to be getting cheap paint. She said, what's cheap paint? I said, well, you know, like, don't be getting paint that costs like $25 a gallon. You know what she told me? Well, this paint actually costs $23 a gallon from Walmart. And I was absolutely shocked at the quality. Okay, I'll tell you the name of it too. Glidden. So I learned a lesson that I knew previously. And that is, when a paint company doesn't advertise for their paint, they can sell it a lot less than the companies that do advertise. It's really that simple. It was excellent paint. Now we're going to make sure that we have no lint on our 3/8 inch nap roller. Okay, so this is tape that I've doubled up, and I simply attached it to a fixed object, and I'm rolling the tape underneath. I'm rolling the roller underneath the tacky side of the tape just to get any lint or hairs, because when you're painting flat surfaces, you're going to see it. Let me show you what we're trying to avoid by painting like this. I want to show you what I would consider a very good paint job, but imperfect. So I complimented my customer on her doors. I said, you know, they did a very decent job on these doors, considering, you know, this is not easy to do. When I say it's not easy to do, it actually is. But here's the thing. Not everybody does it. They don't take the time to do it right. So you see that nice shine coming back at you? It's nice when you walk by the room, you look at that and you say, wow, that looks nice. But now, you know, I said to the customer, they could have done a little better. And this is all I would have done with this door. Let's look up close. Okay. That's Stipple. And why is that? I give the guy who did this an A-, because you can barely see his stroke marks. There's one. You see that mark? That dark right there? That's a stroke mark from his roller that he used. And if you look right here, 1, 2, and this is what's going on there. Watch this. Watch this. He's not lifting his roller, and he's not doing 50%. He's doing V's. V, like a V. Here's what he should have done. He would have achieved a better result. Now you see on the top, he got lazy. He took his brush and he went like this. He brushed it that way, evidenced by the fact that an inch down from the edge, he's got this ridge here. Ugh, not nice. But you can barely see it from here. That's why I give him the grade that I gave him. This is what he could have done. 50%. Keeping a wet edge. Gotta keep it wet. Okay, so this is what we're trying to avoid. As I wait this side of the door to dry, I'm prepping my hinges, etc. But what about the stopper? Here's the stopper. It stops the door from going through the frame, right? Can you get your brush in there and stop the paint at the corner? Yeah, you can. Well, I can't. So here's what I do. Call me a fanatic. I use tape, because I'm not as good as you, who just said, yeah, I can do that. And I simply make a tape line because I want it perfect, all right? I need 2 hands to do this. Here's what I'm doing though. I put the tape over that, and then I'm going to brush that and then pull my tape off when I'm done. I find that it's tedious, but guess what? I don't want that paint on the stopper. And I want a straight, crisp edge. And when I use tape, I can achieve that. For the second coat, I'm going to be using a combination of the brush I was using earlier, and now I'm introducing a 6-inch wide, 3/8 inch nap roller. Okay? The video is not deceiving you. It is like a magic marker. That's it. So, why a brush and a roller? Well, you know the roller can't get in here. And we don't have time to wait, so we're going to hit that. And then we're going to do the flat parts with this. But in the same manner, or the same order, in which we did the first coat with the brush. Now we're going to have a little noise because I want the air on so that the air in this room is moving, meaning the humidity is being drawn out. So here we go. Now, if your quality of paint is not that great, you'll see that your first coat might be coming off. In which case, I advise you just stop and wait till the next day to paint the second coat. If your second coat is doing that to your undercoat, then just leave it and come back the next day to it. And give it a very light sanding with a very fine sanding apparatus. I would even do 600 if you can find it. All right? Okay, so far so good. What do you think? Gotta be careful with these corners here. The corners are where you get the puddles and the drips. Okay? Oh, I love it. How about you? Now hold on, don't go anywhere. People leave my videos too soon and then they take away the wrong information. Okay, so you just saw me go, I'm mashing the paint in. I'm just getting it onto this panel. Now, Watch. I start at the top, all the way. That's the highest point. One direction. Same speed, same amount of paint. I'm not redipping this paint. Look at that. And that's how you want to do all your panels. Okay, so I got a phone call, so I was busy since we last videoed. We did this one on video. Then I did the same thing down here. But I didn't want to go any further because this is important. This part. So now here I come. I want to pull this door out a bit. Okay. Now I'm holding that door open. Remember, we got a ridge there. You can almost see it, right? Now I'm going in this direction because that is the direction in which the grain would go if it were a wooden door. Well, it is a wooden door, it's a wood laminate. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do the same here. Not using a lot of paint on this roller. Alright, but I'm knocking it off just to get the paint onto the door. I don't like the way I finished. Okay, that's good. Now, we'll go up and down. Give me one moment. Okay, so now, I'm just going to paint around the doorknob with the brush, real easily. Okay. We're going to get rid of those brush strokes with the roller, like this. You see, if you use a brush, you're liable to start pulling the paint, just like you see the first coat did. Now you're going to be real careful when you come up to your imaginary line, right? Don't go too slow because you'll make a mess of it when you go slow. Meaning if you want to keep that line. See the line forming? Okay, so now, see, we're going right up to that doorknob, right up to the tape. Now, of course, we're going to finish this off with the same directional stroke. Boom. Oh, I don't like that. Let's do it again. No big deal. Start right up at the top, come down, same pressure, keep it even. Nice. Okay. If you don't like the way something looks, wait till it dries and redo it. Wait till it dries. If you want perfection, just wait till it dries. Don't rush it. Okay. Okay. Now, hold on. Okay, so now I'm going to pull it in one direction. Pull in one direction, lift off, go right up to it, pull in one direction. How's that? Are you liking it yet?